Welcome to another episode of the My Mickey podcast. My name is Cameron. I am your host, and we are so excited to have you back here as we talk about the latest and greatest in your favorite vacation travel destinations. Exclusively right now, we're going to be talking about Walt Disney World vacations. I hope you're ready for it. But before we dive into all the latest and greatest that's happening with the current Walt Disney World experience, we want to do the business of podcast work right now. If you love listening to podcasts, we just invite you to hit the subscribe button wherever you like to listen to podcasts, whether it be Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. And if you happen to be catching us live right now on YouTube and Facebook Live, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, so you can follow along. And throughout our show today, if you're with our live experience, you will have an opportunity to ask questions throughout our conversation about the current Walt Disney World experience. And we would love to answer those questions for you. Now, another way to listen to us is to follow our website at the mymickeypodcast.com. And this wonderful website is brought to you by the awesome travel agency that I love being the face of, My Mickey Vacation Travel. That's right, where you can find a wonderful dream designer who can craft for you the most perfect Walt Disney World Disney experience for you and your family that you will cherish and remember for the rest of your lives. Now, speaking of My Mickey Vacation Travel, I have some great guests with me today. They were on our last episode, and because they're the bosses, I thought, let's bring them back. Here they are, the co-owners of My Mickey Vacation Travel, Jeff Stoner and Karen Stoner. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Cam.
We're back.
We are back, and we're so excited to have you guys here as well. How's it been? How's your February going?
So far, so good. Unlike some other areas in the country right now. So our thoughts and prayers are with them and hope that they get some melting of snow and electricity back and all that.
It's true. I know, especially a lot of family members in Texas and throughout the whole country that are dealing with power outages and the cold right now. Well, if you are able to watch us live right now, hopefully we can give you some of the Central Florida warmth that we are experiencing right now. Yes, and maybe it can help you thaw your energy right now and get you excited for a reason to come here to Central Florida, especially Walt Disney World. And guys, today we're going to talk about the current Walt Disney World experience because as travel agents, you guys as the owners are hearing a lot of the same questions of, is it a right time to travel right now in this unique time that we are experiencing with the pandemic? Is it worth it? Is it worth to spend the money? And the answer is yes. And we want to discuss all of the variety of reasons why it's still a great time and a unique time to visit Walt Disney World that, honestly won't last especially when we get back to what quote unquote normal time is. Right, guys?
Yeah, so we are very much looking forward to that, as everybody else is.
Yeah.
But we get literally our team of dream designers all day, every day. We get emails from our past guests, from guests that are wanting to come to Disney with the same questions as to what's it like now. Are there characters? Are there parades? Are there fireworks? What exactly is happening? And so
right, we're going to cover all that.
Yep.
So since you brought up characters, why don't we start with that right now? So what are you hearing from potential clients who want to book a Walt Disney World vacation, but they're hesitant about what they're thinking of? There's no characters and there's just no parades, right? What can you guys fill us in on? Because you guys go to the parks all the time. So what are you experiencing?
Yes. There are characters. There are characters in all the parks, and they are everywhere. We've seen them from Magic Kingdom, for example. A lot of times you see them over in the train station when you first come into the park. Yeah. They're up there. There's princesses. There's the Fab Five. We have characters that you normally don't see have been up there. And you can interact with them, and they'll hang out and talk with you, and you can do your selfies. And we've also seen them over and outside Fairy Tale Hall. We've seen princesses out there. We've seen the stepsisters. We have seen in Epcot some really cool characters. We've seen Pooh Bear chasing butterflies.
Isn't that just adorable?
He's got a butterfly net. We've seen Joy playing softball. Anna and Elsa over in their Frozen area, just hanging out, talking with their guests, taking selfies. Mary Poppins, we've seen her walking in the gardens in the UK pavilion at Epcot. So we are finding them in different areas throughout the day. At Chip and Dale, we've seen the country bears hanging out. And they are throughout the day, and you're not having to wait online. You're not having to get a pass or taking time out of your day. So all of that is still there.
You know, what I love about this new experience, coming from a background as a longtime entertainment cast member at both Disneyland Resort and here at Walt Disney World, I had a lot of experience with the characters. And what I love about this new experience is that I think that the experiences now, though they are distant, physically distant from each other, they're actually more memorable, in my opinion. I think all leading up to this, a lot of folks were just programmed to wait in a line, get an autograph, get the picture, and move along, and that's a rushed experience because they want to get through as many guests as possible. But it's more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually, as you were saying, you can see all those princesses that would be at Fairy Tale Hall, but you're going to see all of them because at Fairy Tale Hall, you would have to make a decision of who you wanted to go see. So you're seeing them all. If you angle the camera right, you still can get that picture with all of them up there, right? And if you got a good enough voice, talk to them. Talk back to you,
Oh, and they do. They'll interact. And, Mickey and Minnie, if you're wearing, like I'm wearing my ears, they'll do the little thing. And they're constantly interacting. And with the kids and the little kids, they don't know what it used to be like. They don't know the difference. They're so excited to see.
And for this, the theme park experience that, I think ever since Harry Potter arrived at Universal, it's all about immersion, right? And what's really great about the offering right now for Disney's stand on it is that this is adding to that immersive experience. You're seeing Pooh just kind of playing along. You're seeing Joy, finding joy playing sports outside, right?
Yes.
It's fun just to see your favorite Disney characters just living in this world and not having to necessarily just do a love and shove of, hi, thank you, hi, thank you. So it's not feeling so much like a machine. Now some guests may still want those pictures, and I'm sure they will come back once everything returns to normal. But this is a really nice way to reprogram ourselves, our thinking of, you can see all these characters, but it's not going to eat up, as you were saying, Karen, an hour, 90 minutes of your time in the park, which, with limited hours these days, would eat up a chunk of your time that you see them, great, move on to another experience.
Exactly.
Live in the moment. I like living in the moment and not feeling that everything has to be scheduled.
Yes.
Well, and not only do you get to see their personality, like you were just saying, what I like is, frankly, I kind of get tired of seeing Mickey Mouse so many times in the park. In the old days, you had to stand in that line for an hour, an hour and a half to see him, like you said, photo shove. And then maybe you would see him in the Festival of Fantasy Parade. Well, now, he's on the train station. He's in the, several cavalcades throughout the day. You get to see Mickey a lot. And it's, I really like that.
It's great.
Speaking of cavalcades, you mentioned cavalcades, honey. So the other question along with the characters are the parades, because that's where you would see a lot of the characters. If you didn't want to go wait online to see them. There are mini parades.
Exactly.
Virtually, it's one or two floats, and they're calling it a cavalcade. They are not scheduled because they don't want everybody waiting for an hour and a half to try and find your spot. Yeah. And they are going on throughout the day, and all four parks have them. Animal Kingdom they're on boats, and they kind of go through the little river there.
Yeah.
Epcot has them. The Studios has them. There's princesses, Mickey characters, various odd characters, being their Toy Story characters, and they're throughout the day. And we're in the parks a lot, so we'll hang out there a lot. And I always joke around with Jeff as I can hear the princess music. I'm like, oh, sick of seeing the princesses, but they're coming back again. But they are always there, and they're quick. It's only maybe a minute, but the kids love getting to see them, and you see them as you're walking by. You're not having to waste time out of your day or
Right.
have to stand on the other side of the park. No matter where you are, they're bound to be walking by at some point.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
I mean,
love the
there's definitely,
cavalcades.
yes. Now, there's definitely something to be said for the big parades that once were, and I do believe they will come back,
Mhm.
but for the unique time we're in now, this is a great way to, it's a time saver. So you're still seeing a little bit of entertainment here, and you still get to go ride those attractions, So it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. And then the bigger entertainment will come back, and you can experience that as well. So it's another reason to come back if you've never seen, Festival of Fantasy Parade at the Magic Kingdom, And with the 50th coming up in October, who knows if there's some extra surprises coming down the line.
Who knows?
Who
We're
knows?
keeping our fingers crossed.
Hey, do you have any tips on watching the cavalcades? Like any best locations for those to watch them from?
Ooh, we do. So one of our favorite locations over at Magic Kingdom. So, the bridge that connects the hub in front of the castle to Liberty Square.
Yes.
There's a little bridge there. So right on the hub side of that bridge, there's a little cutout area. A cutout area on both sides with these little nice white benches.
Yeah.
We grab a snack. We'll sit there and just wait. And every 20 minutes or so, a cavalcade will come through. We've sat there and for an afternoon and just watch them come throughout the day, and it's a front row seat.
That's great.
We sat there for 45 minutes once, and we saw all the parades come within 45 minutes.
Awesome.
And we just sat there. Sometimes they do come back to back. Sometimes they are within a few minutes apart. Sometimes, they're 20 minutes, but we sat there. You get a popcorn. You can take your mask off and eat your popcorn for a little bit. Nobody's near you on your seat. It's just you on your seat. Nobody's near. And you can just hang out. The kids can kind of chill, and you get front row seat for the characters coming. And they're right there.
It's more relaxed.
Yes.
I love that. I mean, a vacation should be relaxing, right?
Yes.
And what you're describing just makes me think of when Walt was thinking up Disneyland. We've all heard the story of him sitting on the bench with his daughter in front of the carousel in California, right? And thinking, I'd love to have some kind of place where I can take my daughters on the weekend, right? Well, what you're describing is just that, sitting on the bench right there in the middle of the Magic Kingdom, and the entertainment's just coming to you if you just are willing to sit down, take a load off, have some popcorn, and just enjoy yourself, right? It doesn't have to feel so stressful to get everything done, because you can't get everything done. So just enjoy the time you're there.
And the other nice thing is too, with the old parade, you kind of had to find your spot, stand there for an hour. Maybe if you got lucky, you could lean on a trash can, but you're standing there for an hour. These cavalcades come through. They're meant to be instantaneous. You won't find their schedule on the app. You have no idea when they're coming. You just hear the music in the distance, and they literally last about 90 seconds at the, maybe 2 minutes max from beginning to end. And so you're walking, you stop, you watch, it goes by, you wave, you smile, take some pictures, and then you move on. And I love that about it.
Yeah. Awesome. So we talked, parades, character, all that character stuff. That's great. What about character dining? Is that still offered? And I'm sure a lot of your clients love a character dining experience. What do you guys have to add about character dining?
Well, they are still here. And if you check on our podcast that we did a couple of weeks ago, we talked all about it.
Great advertising plug, Karen. Great advertising.
Yes. So if you missed it, you can still check it out. But they do still have character dining. The castle is open. You can still eat inside Cinderella's royal table, and Hollywood and Vine, and all that is still open. There are a couple that aren't open, but for the most part, Chef Mickey's is open for breakfast, and that's always a favorite. Hollywood and Vine, Garden Grill is open, so lots of fun places to go to have those experiences. And the characters, as you can see here, Mickey, Vampire Mickey over at Halloween time was interacting with us and posing for pictures.
That's great. That's great. And again, we're in the same world together. It doesn't have to feel stressful that I got to get that picture, got to get that autograph. Just enjoy the experience. They're there. You see them, have a fun time with them, and continue eating at the same time,
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
And some of the restaurants were actually doing this before the pandemic, but they're all doing it now. But for your kids who miss getting those autographs from the characters, they are handing out these nice little autograph cards. So
look at that.
as your kids leave, they still get their autographs. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So we've covered the characters, as they're doing their surprise, they're popping up in the parks, whether it be the train station or Anna and Elsa in front of the Royal Summer House, Alice and Mary Poppins in the UK, Fairy Tale Hall, Stepsisters and Princesses are there, the Country Bears, Pooh and Friends on the Trolley. So the parks we've covered. What about at the resorts? Would we see them just randomly at the resorts as well?
They are showing up at random resorts. They have a specially decked out bus that they bring around, and you never know when.
Which resort are you specifically referring to?
I'm sorry?
Which resort are you referring to with the bus?
They've been at several. I know they've been at Grand Floridian.
They were at Yacht Club the other day. Stormalong Bay. Goofy was outside on top of one of the building, not on the roof or anything, but like a little porch there. And he was waving everybody.
He's become a stuntman now. Did you know?
Yeah, so he was out there outside Stormalong Bay. So everybody was outside at the pool and Goofy was up there. So they do make appearances.
Love that. Love that. And things like that, it doesn't cost anything extra, so it's just it's just included with your experience of a Walt Disney World vacation.
And you know what I like? I do like this about it is the unexpected. You don't know when it's going to happen. And so it's like that piece of magic that you get. It's that pixie dust. You never know when it's going to happen. It's not an expectation.
Yes.
And it's just extra fun.
Yeah, it's that magical moment they used to have back in the day.
Yeah,
Remember
magical
did
moment.
the magical moments where they had those? Mm-hmm.
And I love, Jeff, you just had up what Elizabeth said, that the stress of the vacation is completely gone. I love that, right?
Yeah.
Because it has been programmed into us that they've got to do everything and we've got to schedule it all on the app and we can't just live in the moment. Well, a lot of that has been taken away because it had to be,
Yeah.
And this reset of a vacation experience, I think, is fantastic. I'm all about it. What was it? You had another comment popping on the screen there, Jeff, from Rachel Franco. She said, we saw them at Saratoga Springs a couple times, the characters. That's great.
Yep.
That's great. So we've covered the characters and the character experience at both the parks and in the resorts. Let's talk about masks. What are you hearing from clients with the mask concerns and questions?
Yes, masks are still required all the time, other than when you are obviously in your room, when you are eating, when you're dining, you don't have to wear one. But when you're out and about, you do have to wear them.
And to clarify, it's anytime you're out and about on Disney property.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
On property.
And a lot of folks don't understand that, well, I'm just outside here. I've heard stories of folks, I'm walking my dog at Fort Wilderness. Well, you're still on property. Yes. You have to. If you're in the bubble, yes. If you're in the bubble, you have to wear it. In the parking lot, you have to wear it. In your room, obviously, you don't have to wear it. When you're sitting down eating at a restaurant, you don't have to wear it. When you're in the park and you want to have, a popcorn, you can't walk around and eat your popcorn. But there are so many places where you can stop away from everybody. There's a bench, there's a place where you can sit when no one's near you and you're social distanced. You can eat your popcorn. The photo here that Jeff's showing outside the UK pavilion Epcot, they added tables everywhere. They're all social distanced. They were not there before, but they have those throughout the parks where you can kind of sit down, grab a drink, take your mask off, have a Mickey bar, and do it safely. Yeah, and so there are places to do that. And like you were saying earlier, just like at the Magic Kingdom, you sit there for a little bit, some entertainment's probably going to come on by.
Yeah.
So just relax and let it come to you.
Yes. Yeah. And there are actual designated areas in each park. They're called relaxation areas. Those are places that you don't have to have anything to eat or drink. You could bring them in there if you want, but you can sit at your table and take off your mask and hang out there as long as you want.
Are those easy to find? Are they on the park map now?
They are on the park map. And actually, that Animal Kingdom, one of our favorite places where Jeff and I went, we stayed for about an hour, maybe not even quite that long, over at Animal Kingdom, just hanging out there. We got a water. It was covered. There were fans everywhere. This was last summer when it was pretty hot. So it was nice to have a breather to take your mask off. But
where in Animal Kingdom specifically is that?
It's over in the Asia area, kind of
Okay.
just outside where Yak and Yeti is, over in that section. But it's a huge area. We had a nice quiet table in the shade with fans, and there were boat cavalcades with characters going on them,
Oh,
going
great.
throughout. They had drummers on there, they had characters on there, and we just stood there and sat and watched characters go by with our masks off, and that was nice.
I tell you, Yak and Yeti, that's a gem in Animal Kingdom. Are they open currently, Yak and Yeti?
They are. They
I
are.
tell you, go to the to-go window, get some great Asian food, go sit down in a relaxation area and enjoy.
Yes.
Great food and just a great time at Animal Kingdom. We have Ceci Turner, Cersei right here, saying, my daughter has special needs and she did such a great job wearing her mask. That's awesome. That's awesome. So if you've got concerns that, I don't think my kid's going to wear it, I think we're all getting really acclimated to it at this point,
We I literally haven't seen any kids having a meltdown and any of that.
We see more parents having meltdowns over
more
masks.
parents.
Yeah,
we have
we
more
do.
parents. Yeah, trying to be
Go figure.
sneaky. Yeah, so I think it was, and actually, I wanted to point out when Jeff and I were at the parks a few weeks ago, there was a family trying to take a picture. They were trying to do family pictures in front of the castle. And they do have cast members around making sure you're wearing your mask, your face coverings properly and keeping it. Some people, of course, don't listen and they do take them down. And then they do get, when they called out to do it safely. Their daughter, who was about 8 years old, said, you are not supposed to do that. She was calling them out. You need to put your mask on. I'm not taking my picture. And I was so proud of her. Yes, I wanted to cry. I said, I should be proud of her that she was following the rules. And her parents were like, we're just going to take it quick. And she said, no, those aren't the rules. They said you have to keep your mask on.
And she would not let them take the picture. She turned around so they couldn't take the picture. She was not even going to be the only masked one. She was like, no way.
I have goosebumps as I'm talking about that because I was just so proud as a mom, and they should be grateful that their child was, follows the rules and doing the right thing.
Amy Huffman is commenting on Facebook Live right now. And she says, kids are so resilient. They are. They are. If you are showing the example, they're going to follow your example.
Exactly.
That's what it is. In listening to that story, maybe that's Disney's next campaign. They need to hire a kid to go, you need to wear your mask.
That's right.
I think you get it from a cute kid saying it.
Maybe that's going to be the new the kid, mask patroller kids. You got to put your mask on. I think that would probably work.
So if you go to our YouTube page, which hopefully some of you are on today, we actually have a video. One of our dream designers' daughter, Cora, did a little video from a kid's perspective of all the fun you can have at the parks with your mask on.
Mm-hmm.
She did a great job.
That's fantastic. Maybe you can add a link to that video in the comment section later on.
Sure will.
People can click on that. That'd be great. So masks, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. We've been doing it. Just, think of everyone's safety so everyone can enjoy Walt Disney World still. Because let's be honest, we're lucky in this day and age that Walt Disney World is open. So let's ensure that it can still remain open and have a place for us still to visit during this time, right?
Yes.
So let's go back to entertainment, because I know entertainment beyond characters now is a big talking point. And as a former entertainer myself, I'm pro entertainment. So they're probably saying to you, your clients, there's no entertainment. I shouldn't come on vacation. What do you say to that?
Go ahead, honey.
There is entertainment.
There we go.
It does it look a little different? Yes, it does. We certainly miss
temporary. We sure hope so.
Right. We sure hope it's temporary. We sure do miss our citizens. We miss our fireworks. But there's other things, and there's other ways to be entertained at the parks. I mean, some of our favorites are still there. The Dapper Dans are back.
Yeah.
So they're still wandering around. Let me load that video real quick here.
The Frozen sing-along, they're still there.
Right.
So that's huge for the Frozen fans out there. The Dapper Dans, they go on the trolley and they sing. They have also been above the train station, and we've seen them over in Frontierland.
Yeah.
So So we've seen
Voices of
them
Liberty
there.
has a brand new show that's over at the American Garden
Yes.
Theater right now, and they're sharing that stage, I believe, with Mariachi Cobre, right?
Yep.
And
Right.
the Jammers. Are the Jammers there as well? Or
Jammers are actually on the Canada stage right now. I
Yeah,
believe.
they're over in the Canada,
Gotcha.
but there's lots of entertainment in Epcot.
Yep.
Everybody loves going around seeing that. So they do have a lot of that entertainment there. Magic Kingdom, the shows and stuff, they still have some of them. Like they have the movie theater shows, and Country Bears are there, and it's just spaced out. The seating and stuff is spaced out every other row, and your family's together, so it's safe.
And another entertainment offering that you may not think of, because it's also a merchandise offering to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
In Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, you can still build a lightsaber and have at Savi's have that experience, and they still have that as well. It's a limited in the room experience, but that is still offered for the Star Wars fans as well. We got Disney on the Brain here on YouTube, Jeff, from YouTube right now. Yay! Said, I love seeing the Dapper Dans roll down Main Street, USA on the trolley. They are a classic. They are. And by classic, he doesn't mean old. No. They mean they're a classic staple.
Yes. And also this summer, they don't have an exact date yet. Disney's still trying to figure out the best way to tweak the show to make it stay for everyone is the Festival of the Lion King show.
It's so
that is
exciting
currently
to see
not
that
going on.
something else, yes, was starting to come back. Amy Huffman right now, I'm so excited for Festival of Lion King is heading back this summer. Will it be different?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it will. It will be different, but how great, that we're getting to the point that we can start safely, and that's the key word, safely bringing back the entertainment so it's safe, not only for the cast, but for you visiting the park as well. And that's very important. Jeff, can we go back to the previous comments about fireworks, right? Any word on the fireworks return from City?
So we don't have any word that in terms of when they're coming back, what show it will be, or anything like that. Obviously, right now, our primary concern is safety. And, when fireworks are launched, people are huddled together and to watch them. So until, CDC guidelines say that, this physical distancing and things like that just aren't a thing anymore or aren't necessary, then we probably won't see fireworks till then. Now, the one thing I will say is that we know that fireworks will come back. And I say that only from this standpoint. All three of us, a little inside secret, all three of us live in the same neighborhood. And
literally
our
neighborhood literally touches Disney property.
We're
like neighbors, and we're right next to the Magic Kingdom. And I don't know if you're about to say what. Go ahead. I wonder if you're going to say what I was going to say.
I was just going to say that we were so jazzed. Almost everybody in our neighborhood were in our backyards or front yards a couple months ago. They were testing the fireworks system, the launch system, a couple months ago. And so at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, we saw fireworks for maybe 20 minutes.
It was a very emotional night.
It was.
It's almost strange, right? Because it's been so long. And another. Just a little insider from the three of us where we live. Did you hear fireworks last night? Like at two different times, I was outside and heard fireworks going off. Couldn't see anything, so I don't know if it was.
I'm wondering if it's Epcot. I'm wondering if Epcot
they
is
are working on Harmonious. They still are, because you can even drive down Buena Vista and you can see these things are massive. Stages that they are building for Harmonious that they're constructing backstage behind World Showcase. So that is still going on. I heard it two different times last night. Long fireworks displays going. So it's
I know one of our neighbors on our community board said they looked like they were coming from the Epcot direction. So that's my guess.
That's my guess. It was a little distant, so that was my guess as well. But my wife came in last night. I was doing an event last night. She goes, "There's fireworks." So they're coming. They are coming.
Yeah.
And my guess would probably be the 50th. They're going to do their best to get that for that. Yeah.
But one thing I do want to mention about fireworks, or the lack of having fireworks right now, there's a couple little perks to not having it. As much as we miss having them, I have found that now in the evenings are much more pleasant for wandering the park. You don't have, I know before, I'm not one that likes all the crowds. And I was always one that when fireworks would happen, much as I wanted to stay to watch them, I was also kind of stressed out about having to leave with the
Carol, I
crowd.
want to watch it from the train station so we can get on the monorail first.
Yes,
right?
yes, and
not-
when my daughter was little, and the kids a lot of times don't like it. My daughter didn't like fireworks when she was little, so we always had to hurry up and get out. Now it's nice to be able to just sit and look at the castle and enjoy the music and get the pictures and relax and not feel like you have to shove your way through how many herds of people that are squished right there. And you can kind of walk around, and it's just a much more, and I know people that have been before know exactly what I'm talking about. That is one nice thing.
I think you can sum up what we've said so far, that this is a unique time. It's a different Walt Disney World vacationing experience, right? And in a positive sense, it's one you probably won't see again. So it is a nice time to come here and just chill, relax, actually have a vacation, enjoy more elbow room. And that's something that there's a lot to be said for that. It
sure is.
Just relax, enjoy the elbow room. And we're going to talk about the transportation offerings in a little bit, but it goes even into that, Well,
leaving the park was always so stressful. Everybody was always trying to hurry up and get out and get to the bus and running over everybody's ankles with the strollers and all that, trying to get out. And now it's just leisurely. You wander out, you've got your stroller and it's just everybody's happy and the kids are peacefully sleeping in the stroller. And it's a whole different experience than it was before. So embrace it for those of you that
embrace it. Right. It's a unique time. It's we're not going to see this again. So that it's really cool.
And the photo opportunities, with less people, there's nighttime shots of the castle that you want to take and pictures of the partner statue. You don't get those on fireworks nights. So it's really a nice opportunity.
Photographers are loving it.
Yes.
I've seen them posing. I've seen girls laying on the ground, so posing, and all the influencer girls, and the photopass photographers are really getting creative and getting some cool pictures.
Shots that they couldn't get before.
Yeah, you couldn't do that before. So I think it's really cool.
Embrace the change, and just have some fun with it. Since we're still talking about crowds, Disney is still saying that now they're at 35% capacity. Are you hearing from your clients that they're concerned that based on, because there have been pictures, especially after Valentine's Day weekend, let's talk about it, that there are pictures that it looks far more crowded than what 35% sounds like. What do you guys have to say about that?
So my opinion is it's funny. Let me say this. And I wish I would have downloaded some for this. I was looking at some of our videos last night pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And I had one of an after hours party that probably represented 2 to 3 times the amount of people that are in the park currently.
Yeah.
For an after hours party, which is supposed to be a limited issue ticket. Those still shot pictures that you see online every now and then, I think they're kind of misleading because it's a snapshot of one instantaneous moment in time. What you don't see is the fact that people are actually walking, they're passing each other. For the most part, people are trying to do their best to stay away from that person who's, near you or following you or behind you. You have those and typically those pictures are always taken in the most crowded areas anywhere, like Peter Pan's Small World.
That's what the picture where
it's like,
that area bottlenecked on a regular basis. Anyway.
There could be 100 people in the park and that picture would still look awful.
Right. So what we're saying is just make sure, when you see things like that, understand that that's one section. Yes, and we're not saying that those crowds are not there. They are there.
Right, of course.
Just keep in mind that it's not like that everywhere in the park,
Right.
Exactly.
And for the cavalcades too, people are walking and then they see one and they all stop. So you may have, what looks like to be a huddle of people stopped to take photos, but they literally stopped right then and there to take a photo and kept moving. And it kind of comes by. So it's not like they're standing there, huddled together for a period of time.
But keep that in mind if you're thinking of an upcoming vacation here with My Mickey Vacation Travel and their dream designers. If you're thinking of booking a vacation, keep in mind of holiday weekends because that picture was taken during Valentine's Day weekend, which also happened to be President's Day weekend. So kids were off of school. So keep that in mind because even, around Christmas time, there were a bigger influx of guests for a few days.
Mhm.
Just be aware that even though we're in pandemic time, that those chunks of time throughout the year still get a little more crowded. And if that makes you concerned, understandably so, consider a non-peak holiday time to visit.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Cool.
Or just there, you ask your dream designer, where are those crowded avenues? Stay away from that Peter Pan Small World, in the afternoon, or maybe visit that first thing in the morning before the crowds build.
Right.
That
there still are lines for attractions, right?
Yeah,
There's still
exactly.
lines, and they're appearing to be longer, but that's for the social distancing.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
So like the Peter Pan line, I think maybe I have a video on that. But like the Peter Pan line, it runs through the queue, but then it runs down to the whole way down the side almost into Liberty Square, and goes into, and actually the queue line has been running into Columbia Harbor House, which is currently closed.
Mm-hmm.
But we did that a couple of weeks ago, and when we visited this line, it followed the whole way down, almost to Columbia Harbor House. And I think the entire time it took us to get from that point onto the attraction was 15 minutes, 16 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they look longer than they are.
And for those of you watching live with us right now, and if you want to watch the video later on of this podcast, we're seeing that bottlenecked area we were just talking about, right?
Right.
It's a Small World and Peter Pan and the Rapunzel restroom area. So, everyone is spread out, which why it looks so much more crowded.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's talk about park hopping. Park hopping is still a thing, right?
Park hopping is still a thing. Just came back January 1st, actually.
Right.
So the way that the park hopper works now is that, first of all, you must have a park hopper ticket. If you don't, it doesn't work. But basically, you have to have a park reservation for your first park of the day. So if you want to go to Epcot and maybe work your way over to Magic Kingdom later,
right,
you have to have the park reservation for Epcot. At 2:00, you are then able to go to any other park you want to, assuming they are not already at capacity. And you can just check with the cast member before you leave. We have not heard of any instances where parks have reached capacity for park hopping yet, even during the busy past weekend. So yeah, I mean, it's really easy. You just hop on your favorite form of transportation, go to the other park, and at 2:00 you can get in, and you can go to multiple parks after 2:00. So
and park pass availability didn't make a difference. So if you want to go to Hollywood Studios, the day that we did our park hopping, the very first day, Hollywood Studios was totally sold out of park passes for the day. So we couldn't have gotten a park pass at all that day, but yet we were able to hop there that afternoon.
After 2:00, right.
So we were still able to go. So just because you couldn't get a park pass for the first park for that day doesn't mean that they're sold out for the day.
That's great.
Hopping. So,
folks, if you're just joining us, why don't we reset where we are right now? My name is Cameron Matthews. I'm the host here of the My Mickey podcast, where we are talking about the current Walt Disney World experience and why it's a perfect time right now to book a vacation with My Mickey Vacation Travel. The dream designers there are the experts. And right now we are talking to Jeff and Karen Stoner, the co-owners of My Mickey Vacation Travel. And we've been covering everything from the characters are still there, entertainment is still available to see, and it's a new experience, a temporary, unique experience, and it's still a great time to visit Walt Disney World. And we were just talking about park hopping, and I think this is a great time to transition to talking about the modes of transportation to help you park hop. Yeah? So let's talk about bus service. That's a classic, for getting around from park to park and to going to Disney Springs. What are the safety guidelines so people feel safe with the buses right now?
Go ahead, darling.
You are sort of assigned a seat on transportation now. The
bus is the driver assigning where you sit?
Yeah, so they are limited. There's no standing. You have areas are sectioned off with the plexiglass, so everybody's socially distant.
Yeah.
It's very safe how they're doing that with the buses. Same for the monorail. Whereas a monorail before, you had to take up all available space and shove as many people as you could into a monorail car, as stuffed as it was. Now, no longer, no standing. Everyone has a seat.
And there's partitions, right? We're seeing
Yes.
pictures here. There's partitions on some of the monorails there, and also on the buses too, correct?
Yes. Yeah. And they are telling you exactly where to stand. So when you get up to the podium, they tell you what number to stand next to, and that's where you sit. And it's just so nice.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Karen. Go ahead.
No, see, it's just so much nicer the way they're doing that. You don't have to worry about standing, and it's very efficient, and it just goes by a lot quicker.
Now, I'm sure some clients would be wondering, and I'm wondering as well. So with limited seating on buses, does that mean in the morning you have a longer wait time to wait now for buses because they're not, filling them like they used to? Or
yes and no.
Okay.
First thing in the morning, the line is very long because the buses aren't starting until, X amount of time before the park opens. So everybody at that resort, they're all waiting online to get on that bus.
Mhm.
So, but they also have a lot more buses lined up to go. So don't be afraid of that line. You go, oh my gosh, look how long that is. They are prepared, and they have buses coming in that morning rush because they're prepared to get everybody on there.
Yeah.
So as the day goes on, you're not going to have that kind of a wait. But when the parks first open, don't be intimidated by that long line. But Disney is well aware, and they got buses coming.
We have a comment here. Elizabeth Elaine is saying, at the resort, people work very hard to get buses in and out quickly. The lines appear long, but they do move quickly. That's good to know. That's good to know. So yeah, we've talked about the buses. We talked about the monorails. The one monorail section that's not working right now is from Epcot to the Transportation Ticket Center. That's currently not operating.
Even the resorts, there's no monorail at all going to Epcot. So if you're staying at a monorail resort where you normally would be taking that to Epcot, there's bus transportation. Just
keep that in mind that is not offered at this time. What about the watercraft? The boats, the ferries, is that still offered?
They are. All the resorts from Magic Kingdom are serviced. Polynesian is on a limited basis because the core Polynesian resort is closed, but the villas are open. So that's a hit or miss as to whether the boats are running. The friendship boats over at Epcot and Hollywood Studios are running to the Boardwalk and the Yacht and Beach Club and Swan and Dolphin. So those watercraft are also working as well.
That's great. Skyliner, that's going as usual anyway. So Skyliner is up and running, and one family per car. So they're not.
I mean, there's no better socially distant mode of transportation than the Skyliner right now. Fresh air coming on through. It's just you in there, and that really, if that is a big concern for you as you're planning a vacation, then you really may want to consider staying at Art of Animation or Pop Century, the Riviera, Caribbean Beach, right?
Exactly.
Or the Boardwalk, or really any of the Boardwalk hotels as well, because they have that walkable access.
Sure, you can walk over.
Beach Club, they have the walkable access to the Skyliner too. So that is something to consider right now with your plans for a Walt Disney World vacation. What do we have here? We have Jana Seacrest here that says the line for Skyliner can be long in the morning. Does it move fairly fast also? It's a question.
So it can get stacked up in the morning. Again, it's kind of the same thing as the bus. But the nice part is, again, it's maybe a little bit slower than it had been previously because they are only putting one family per car. But it does. I mean, it's the nice part is it's a constantly moving form of transportation. One car leaves, another one comes in, and they just
you're not waiting for another one to come, wondering when the next bus is coming. There's always Skyliner constantly coming.
And let me ask this, going a little off script here, but what about the minivan service? Is that offered right now as another option or not?
It is not. No. They suspended that service.
There we go. So now we're all up to date on it. That's great. Well, guys, we've covered a lot of great stuff, with the current Walt Disney World experience. Are there any last minute questions? I want to make sure anyone who's with us on Facebook Live.
Yes, I had a couple questions here. One person asked, is the dining plan going to be offered for November?
Of 2021.
Of 2021. And our answer is We don't know. We hope so. We're hoping. We want the dining plan back as much as anybody.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting to find out. So hopefully we will. And as soon as we know, you'll hear about that on My Mickey Vacation podcast or on our blog at mymickeyvacation.com.
But there's a lot of great dining options, and we covered that on our previous episode. So go back and watch that. We cut all the stuff from mobile ordering, which I think is still awesome. That's me. I love it. So there's still great ways to dine, and we gave some extra tips of maybe some locations you wouldn't think of to go enjoy a leisurely meal. So go ahead and check out that podcast as well. We have Heather Whitelock in quotes Woodall. Hi, Heather, saying any insights on the 50th anniversary? We will be there in the middle of October. Do you guys have any insider info on that?
We have our resort room booked. So
They're
we'll be there.
Planning. They're still planning. October 1st is Disney World's 50th anniversary. We don't know what kind of offerings they're going to have as far as shows and fireworks and that kind of thing. I think they're waiting to see how things go as a vaccine comes out and over the next few months. But we still have quite a few months to go. So
who knows?
Hopefully we should start hearing more specifics. But, they've already painted the archways going into Disney property. They've already kind of painted the welcome signs and all that.
Right.
For the
And the castle. They repainted the castle.
And the castle. And they're working on Harmonia. So they are doing things. So,
and for me, this is pure speculation, but I would probably put some money on it. That they probably will open some of these newer attractions that they've been waiting to open for the 50th. That's my guess. So things like Ratatouille, which has been waiting to open, they
any day, yeah.
For that. So who knows? Pure speculation, but that's, I think, a pretty good guess. Yeah. Sadie Brown says, for character dining, will the characters pose for pics that are socially distant?
They sure do. They sure do. And they actually pose quite a bit. So they do a great job, and they will also interact. So if they see little ones there with a princess dress and you're at Cinderella's royal table and Cinderella comes out, she does her best to interact and talk and all that stuff. So most definitely.
And visit our YouTube channel, because we did a whole thing on dining last week or about 2 weeks ago. So we have that video up, and we'll have all kinds of video and pictures on there as well.
That's great. How about any last questions?
So I have one last comment from a good friend of ours, and I think sums up and wraps up this entire episode.
Love that. So Tom Wonder on Facebook says, years from now, you will talk about this time at Disney and say, remember when? And it will be a good memory. Yeah.
That's right.
It's just embracing a new way of vacationing at a place you probably have vacationed before, So if you're going in there open-minded, with just a different way of looking at it and go, wow, there was a couple of things here that we loved from this. We still miss entertainment. We still miss all of the hotels being open. We still miss the ease of other things,
Sure.
And of course we do. And that stuff will come back. But I think we're going to find after this experience, we may miss one or two things. And I think this is I'm going to ask you guys, what's one thing that you hope they keep from this experience, when we go back to quote unquote normal?
Mine is the character experience. Other than the fact that I know the kids like to go and get the actual autograph maybe and hug Mickey Mouse and that kind of thing. I love how they're doing the characters. I love the way they're doing the parades, the little cavalcades, and I love the character situation. I think we're seeing them more, and I love the relaxed feeling of seeing the characters along with our day.
Yeah. How about you, Jeff?
So my favorite thing right now is not necessarily the lower crowds, but what I like is, because I know we can't keep that. That's not realistic. But what I hope we see is, I don't ever want to hear the words, please move the whole way down, filling in all available spaces.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm standing in a queue line. I love having, just a little bit of space between me and
what?
Your personal space.
Yeah, I like having my little box of space. So I'm kind of getting used to that.
Yeah, I'll tag on that. I hope they keep the limited capacity in the buses. I think that is huge. Especially if you've stayed at any, say, the All-Star resorts and you're coming from the Magic Kingdom, they are packing you. They used to pack you guys in there, sitting, standing. At the end of the day, you're exhausted. There's strollers, there's kids crying. It's a lot happening, and you got to go that whole distance packed and uncomfortable, you know. And then and I can also, from personal experience, staying at Port Orleans Riverside, which has several stops of the different locations, because it's a big resort. Coronado Springs is similar, you know. If you don't have to be jam-packed for all that time while you're getting to your stop and be more comfortable and relaxed, I think that would be fantastic to keep. So keep the extra buses. It employs more cast members. Yes.
That's right. Yes.
Absolutely.
Seriously, it does. And it's a more comfortable experience. Let's keep the elbow room, right? I think we'll all be healthier too. Seriously.
So, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, when the masks come off, I think we'll all be a bit healthier too.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree.
that's a win-win in my book. Well, guys, thank you so much for being the guests again on your podcast. This was great. And thanks everyone for watching on Facebook Live and on YouTube for providing such great questions for us to talk about here. And if you loved everything we've talked about with the current Walt Disney World experience, and you're thinking, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this time. You know the perfect people you need to contact? The dream designers at My Mickey Vacation Travel, where they're all about family, magic, and memories. You can find them on the social media platforms, and you can get started with a dream designer by going to the website mymickeyvacation.com. Any last things from you two?
Nope, I think that's good.
Thanks for tuning
Thanks,
in, guys.
Cam.
And we're excited to help you. Thanks, Cam.
Thanks. Absolutely. And we'll see you next time here. And make sure, please subscribe at your favorite podcast viewing area and like us so you'll know when we go live again on My Mickey Podcast. I'm Cameron, and we'll see you next time here on the live stream. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.